Welcome to the Floor Academy podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hedin, former installation contractor and boutique store owner. Joining me this week is Shane Levinson of Vision Flooring, formerly Carpets of Arizona. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about this week. I think a lot of times people are worried about rebranding themselves. And what will that mean? Will clientele remember you? Will they follow you? Is the name really as important as you think it is? Do you hire a company to help you? How do you get a new website? How do you deal with old reviews? We're going to dig into all of that and more throughout the conversation of how Shane has successfully navigated these waters, what it's done for him, any struggles he may have had along the way, anything that he would give as advice to help you go through it yourself and maybe not encounter any negatives if there were any. So we'll get into all of that in just a minute. We're here on Floor Academy every week to bring you advice on how to run a business instead of owning a job. And we're tackling something different on every occasion so that you can incrementally improve your business 1% episode by episode by just implementing one thing, one golden nugget, one takeaway, and you will be better as you go. And at the end of a year, you should have a significantly different business that lets you be more efficient, more profitable, take up less of your time, and lets you do what you really want to do, which for a lot of us, I know, was spend more time with family, have more money, build an actual, like piggy bank for ourselves. And then you open up a business and you're working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's not everything you thought it was cracked up to be. So you take the best of the best from around the globe here and implement a little bit of what everybody's saying, and you end up with something better, and then you get what you actually dreamed of, and you don't have to struggle anymore. Before we get started and have Shane introduce himself, I've got a quick word from one of our sponsors. Attention flooring professionals, elevate your craftsmanship with the finest tools and supplies from tiletools.com. From spacers to saws, we have everything you need for flawless tile installations. Plus, we offer top-notch customer service and fast shipping. As a special offer for Floor Academy listeners, you can use the code FA10 at checkout to receive an additional 10% off your order. Don't settle for less. Visit tiletools.com today and experience the difference in quality and service that professionals trust. All right, Shane, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me. If you wouldn't mind telling everybody who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Yeah, I'm Shane Levinson. I'm the owner of Vision Flooring here in Chandler, Arizona, and do it because this is what I've known for the last decade. So we are searching and seeking to grow it big and make an exit here in the next 5 to 10 years.
That's okay. So you don't want to necessarily do it forever and ever, kind of build an asset, hang on to it. You're looking to build it, sell it, get out. What's next? What's on the radar? What's interesting you?
Yeah, I'm honestly really passionate about politics. So more than likely we'll enter into that arena. I've done a little bit in the past, and that's the arena that really gets my my fires roaring. So
okay,
more than likely that's where it's going to end up.
So next mayor of Chandler, Gilbert, wherever you're.
Yeah, we'll see. In 20 to 30 years, I'm hoping governor of Arizona. So we'll see what happens.
You gotta start small. I was president of the HOA board for like I was on the HOA board for 6 years and president for like a year. And man, that was to deal with it at a larger level than that. I can only imagine, because the BS that happens on such a small scale was nonsense.
Oh yeah.
But good for you. Right on. Okay. So let's start with you've been doing it for about 10 years, a little over, and started with your dad. I think most people that have listened to the show know Jerry just from the online space, or have caught an episode with him. If you haven't caught an episode with Jerry Levinson, search use the search bar and put Jerry Levinson and Floor Academy in and check out his episodes. They're very good. But you guys, there's two rebrandings here actually, because you bought out another brand just for their space and whatever inventory was left, if I remember correctly, and then you named it Carpets of Arizona, and then built that up. So I don't know if we want to start that far back.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean,
Okay.
we got into the industry, and neither my dad or I had any experience in the industry whatsoever. And he knew of a business owner down here called he had owned a business called the Carpet Broker, and they were unfortunately going under. And we just saw an opportunity because this was 2015,
Hmm.
most flooring companies weren't even on the internet yet. So we saw a great opportunity to come in with some good marketing and really emphasize the customer experience to gain some market share. And it worked out really well. We started with Carpets of Arizona, started marketing that name. The first year was really, really rough. I remember one month I think it was April of 2015. We did 12,000 in sales
Oof.
with payroll like 12,000. So it was a real rough start in the beginning, but
Hmm.
then our name started getting out there more, and we've been on a good growth track up until kind of the whole industry took a slide in 2023.
Well, I don't, it's not even the industry. It's the economy in general, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not as easy as it was when the money printers were running and that
Oh
COVID money
gosh,
was there and nobody was able to do anything except improve their home. So it's
yeah.
definitely a different environment now. So you looked to rebrand. You went from Carpets of Arizona, did very well under you and your father. You grew it, like you said, 40% annual growth for 7 years, and so you bought out a stake and you kept it that way for a while. So it looks like you did 2 years as Carpets of Arizona.
Mhm.
What brought about the idea of even thinking about rebranding instead of carrying on with Carpets of Arizona?
Yeah, listening to the customers. I'd hear customers talk about one, they'd get our name wrong constantly. It'd be America, Carpets of America or Arizona Carpets, or we'd have customers who would call us back and say, "Hey, can you retack our carpet? We just got vinyl plank put in." And oh, we didn't realize that you guys did the other flooring. And so we saw too the
Hmm.
marketplace is shifting. There's a lot less carpet going into a home than there was hard surface.
Okay.
So you needed to bridge that gap. Everybody knows if you're a flooring company, people assume that you're going to do carpet. But if you're a carpet company, they're not going to assume that you're going to be the place to go for tile, for laminate, for hardwood, for vinyl.
Yes.
So that was really what the rebrand was. That's what kind of prompted it. And then as far as the rebranding goes, I've been following Tommy Mello for a long time and seeing what happened to his company
Hmm.
when they rebranded. So I took a page out of his book, hired the same branding company, Kick Charge Creative, to come up with the brand and all of that, and put it on Vans, and uh, wanted to really put out a brand that was equal to the quality that we were
Hmm.
providing. We have
Hmm.
fantastic online reputation. We just hit over 500 five-star reviews on Google alone, over 700 across all platforms. And so we really wanted to elevate the brand. We want to be more expensive, and we want customers to know why we're more expensive before we even walked in the door,
Yeah.
um, and presented a quote. So that's what all came about to the rebranding. And so
Okay.
far, I think it's gone pretty well. It's very hard to judge because my rebrand happened at the exact time that the market started to slide in mid 2023. It was like
Okay.
right at the same time. I know, like talking to the major manufacturers and all that, their first like down quarter was quarter three 2023,
Hmm.
and that was the quarter that we rebranded.
Okay. So a little tough to judge. I think there's a lot of good
Very.
things being said here. So one, you mentioned Tommy Mello. For those of you that don't know who he is, he runs a super huge garage door company. He's expanding into other home surfaces. If you went and listened to the episode that we did with Matt Garcia, that's where he designed his performance pay system from. Was he got a lot of that stuff from things that other home service based businesses are talking about, but a lot of it came from like Tommy Mello and conversations he's had. So awesome to see common themes, people pulling from the same place. And I think it's awesome that you're looking outside of the flooring industry. I think that's one of the most detrimental things, is that it's like a vacuum chamber within this industry of everyone's like, that's the way we've always done it. It's like, no, no, no. Like, you can look almost in any other industry or even in other like home-based services and find a better way to do it. And we're killing ourselves by not. So I love that you did it. You said you hired a company. So what does that look like, to hire a company and that's going to completely I know another local company, Floor Dozers, that hired a branding company, and they designed the shirts, the truck, the logo, like the messaging, right? They came in, they did everything. And it's probably one of the best things he's ever done because it helped him appear way bigger than he was sooner. So what do you think you got out of hiring a branding company?
I think we got the same thing. You know, you look at our branding and stuff, you think that this is a bigger company. I will say that it's like I said, so hard to judge just because of the way that the market shifted at the same time as the rebrand. And I feel like whenever we go into a stronger market, the fruits of all of that is really going to hit at that point in time. But to be able to have a wrap vehicle, you know, in our industry, it's all subcontractor based. The big guys in town, Expresses and Empires, everyone from their salespeople to their installers are subs. So their brand is only on the TV screen. And in KickCharge market research, that's something that they realize is, you know, nobody's branded on the roads.
Yeah.
Nobody's got a driving billboard. So I wanted something that if people saw out there, it'd be memorable and something that has an elevated sense to it, that this isn't a chuck in a truck. We've actually had, I love it. One of my designers, she said she pulled up in her van, walked up to the front door. The guy opened the door, looked at the van, said, "Nope, you're going to be too expensive."
Perfect. Thank you. Saved me the time. That's, you know what? You saved me so much time. I love that. That's great. I worked with one of the first guys I worked for. He was sent away. The guy was like, "I'm not paying your truck payment," which is like a crazy thing to judge somebody on. You don't know if I'm making a payment or not, but I was like, all right, I guess that's kind of fair. So saved you time with low ballers.
There's plenty of people out there that are going to value that and say, wow, these guys are really put together. Quite frankly, a lot of people don't really put all of that together either. He probably had a trades background and is probably salty because he's over there trying to compete on price for everything that he ever does in his life, and he's just bitter.
Yep. No, whatever it was funny to me, but I love that too. That, you know, the designer showed up and you got a wrapped vehicle. You're too much. I'll see you later. But I think it makes a huge difference in that. I don't know that a lot of people are looking at that. You know, if I were to get back into it, I would for sure wrap my truck right away this time. I would get my wife's car wrapped. My son's 15. He'll be 16 next September. I would not even give him a choice, and I'd make him wrap his car. And like, you're going to advertise the family business everywhere you go. But it's because if you can if you're an owner operator and you have one vehicle wrapped, nobody ever really notices just one vehicle on the road. But from what I've heard and talking with multiple people, and I know you have more than a couple of salespeople, once you get over like that 3-4 vehicle mark, people start commenting and they're like, "I see you everywhere." Well, no, you just see us all around the same area because you travel in such a small space. But that's the difference, is then you're getting that top of mind marketing that you're actually after. So I think that's great that you have them all wrapped and driving around, and people are going to recognize that. So even if you don't have the in-house installers, you still have the salespeople out in force driving around all day being seen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, having in-house installers in trucks, like, that's honestly the dream, is having a branded vehicle in the same neighborhood for a week.
Yes.
Impression value on that is just going to be unbelievable. Then we're hitting people that live near our current customer base twice a day. Every single day, I get 20 impressions on that week-long job from each person in there. I feel like if we were branded in the neighborhoods while we were doing the work, I mean, that's the best place to be branding.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything? So I agree. It's one of the reasons why I hate the subcontracting model. I'm very outspoken about it in the industry, even though it's the standard. It drives me nuts. I think it's ridiculous. I think it hurts us more than it does anything. And so I know you've talked to Matt, and I hope you find a way to bring in-house installers and get a truck and a trailer in the driveway and out front, especially in Arizona. It's so easy there's a lot of places, like, you know, I'm looking to move to Wisconsin. You can't park overnight on the street because if it's snowing, the snowplow has to come through and it stops them from being able to do their job. So like, it's a completely different way to do business there. But here in Arizona, truck, trailer, leave it out front, wrapped, giant 7x14 billboard, you know, for a week or two as you're doing a project. It's a beautiful thing. Are you doing anything else, like as part of the rebranding package? Were there like the window company I used when I remodeled my father's house, we had to leave a sign in the yard for 60 days. So you do
Oh
anything
yeah.
like that after you're done with, yard signs before, after, or, are you
We're
finding
not.
any
The
other way
yard
to hit
signs
them?
are so we're not yet, but yard signs are something that we want to get going on. And that's the hard part whenever it's a sub, right? Is I've gotten the A-frame signs,
Hmm.
and after about 30, 45 days, it's like, okay, who has the A-frame sign? You're supposed to bring it back, and just ends up getting all dinged up and damaged. But I'm
Hmm.
actually curious, what did they give you in order for you to put it out there for 60 days?
Part of
A
it,
discount or something?
yeah, I got a discount on it, right? I was like the test house in the neighborhood to try and drum up more business, which I knew wasn't going to happen for them, but I was like, let me buy into
It
your
probably
your
wasn't even
deal.
true either, but I love that pitch.
Yeah, I mean, look, there was six
That's a
windows.
good
It was
pitch. I'm going to
10
use that.
grand. That's essentially what it is, right? Like I'll give you the 5% off or whatever you let us keep it in your yard for
Oh, yeah.
60 days.
Mhm.
There's that one. The other one I've heard of, as long as we're kind of in this branding thing, is to print up door flyers,
Mhm.
and then you go and put them, like, 10 doors down both directions, like on, 5 houses one way, 5 houses the other, and then go across the street, do the same thing. And it just says, hey, sorry, we're in the neighborhood. Sorry if we're making any noise. If you find a mess, please let us know. We're happy to come over and clean it up. And it has your phone number on it. It doesn't say anything, the fact that you're trying to get a job, right? It just says, hey, we're in the neighborhood. If there's a problem, let us know.
Mhm.
And again, I think it's a very smart way of getting branding out there for your company, but being very polite about it, and then advertising essentially on the sly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it's a great strategy.
Okay. So you've rebranded. You got the wrap vehicles. What were any struggles that you were possibly coming into, that you were worried about the name change? Were you worried that clients were gonna, react in a negative way, or you were gonna lose people because they couldn't like search you anymore?
I wasn't too worried about that because we're pretty robust in our marketing. So, I actually increased my spend on the old keyword name, Carpets of Arizona, had ads that actually spelled it out in the ad, looking for Carpets of Arizona. We've changed names, same people, all of
Hmm.
that. I will say that it should have been more of a slow roll. We went, okay, on this date, the new website's live. Okay, on this day, we are now Vision Flooring. And that was totally the wrong thing to do. Should have ran both brands simultaneous for a little while, and then made it more of a gradual changeover to it. But it's that elevating. We have seen an increase, whether it's due to the rebranding or better tracking with Floors app, kind of probably a mixture of both, better gross
Hmm.
profit margins, and it's we're winning a higher percentage of the hard surface jobs. When
Okay.
we were Carpets of Arizona, we closed hard surface projects, we closed at 28-30%. And now on hard surface, we're closing closer to 50-52%. So
Okay.
I think it's just that trust too. Well, this is a carpet company. How much do they know about,
Hmm.
the actual flooring? I think some of that stigmatism has gone away too.
Okay. So just with I hate to say generic flooring name, but I mean, it's generic flooring name versus
Oh yeah.
a specialized in, like, hey, we're a carpet company.
Mhm.
So yeah, if that looks to be helping, that's great, right? So now we've generalized, and we have access to, now people know we're not just a carpet company, like you said before, right? You're doing hard surface stuff and multiple categories within that world. So yeah, I can see where being more comfortable comes in. You're saying you kind of picked a date and shut it down. So does that mean, like, the Carpets of Arizona website went dead, or just automatically transferred to, I'm assuming you would use it to forward over to Vision Flooring, but
Yeah.
essentially, like, every branded thing for Carpets of Arizona went dead, and then everything for Vision Flooring went live, and there wasn't you're saying there wasn't an adjustment period of it's forwarding you, there's some kind of message of, like,
Yeah, it
yes, you
should have
can
been
click
on the
on the
Carpets of
carpets.
Arizona page, like we're becoming Vision Flooring, see the process or whatnot, and then still had the Vision Flooring page up.
Hmm.
You start running like keeping the carpet campaigns on the pointing to the Carpets of Arizona website. Change the hard surface campaigns to the Vision Flooring website for landing pages,
Hmm.
just slowly bring over all the carpet
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah, some kind of message of, same great
Oh
management,
yeah.
new name, or
Yeah, I think that's actually the exact verbiage was same great people, same great service, just a new name or something like that.
okay. Uh, what about getting the assets designed? I know people struggle to, as small owner operators, that are in the flooring industry. Generally, we're really good at flooring stuff. So you give us a website, and we have no clue what we're supposed to be talking to that website person about, how to hold them accountable. But to rebuild all the assets and get everything from one space to another space moved over, what was that process like?
It was it was rough because of the web company that I had. I've had all of the web companies, I think, at this point in the flooring industry, and
Fair
now I'm
enough.
running all my own ads and seeing a much better ROI. So if that tells you anything, but that company took care of it and they handled it on their back end. It was a couple weeks later than it was supposed to be and all of that. Um, Actually, I don't know if I want to go into that. They were horrible. So couldn't even trust my metrics for the first like 3 months
Okay.
because of the things that they had done.
Okay. So, I mean, that's definitely a point of struggle within a rebrand, is making sure that the web team you have selected, whether internal or external, is accurately getting assets transferred from one space to another, and that you're going to get
Well,
accurate reporting in terms.
yeah, and if it's, if you do it like I did, which is the wrong way, don't do it like I did. You go ahead and, you build up your new website and then you put teasers on your old website. And like I was talking
Mhm.
about, that the teasers on the new website maybe points over to the teasers on the old website maybe points over to the new website. Like as an in the future thing. But you don't launch your website for the new brand until it's done, until the landing pages look the way you want it to, until everything's been tested and QA'd and your forms fire and you've got call rail tracking and everything is all done there. That's what we were waiting on. That was kind of
Okay.
once the website was ready, that's whenever we made the switch.
Well, and I think you have, as a larger retailer, because you're upwards of what, 3-4 million, if not five by now,
Hmm.
in that range. So, I mean, it's your website's no joke. There's a lot going on. I think a lot of the audience here is owner operators. So it's, probably a van and a crew, maybe two, and the websites are not nearly as robust as yours. And I think that's where, just because of the size of your operation and how you have everything dialed in, to have the tracking on different numbers, whether someone's calling through Yelp or Angie's or the Google ad or the phone number that's specific to just the store for, somebody looked me up in the white pages or the yellow pages still. I know you have like kind of all that stuff in place. And then there's, myself, and it was, here's my cell phone number, call me. There is no
Hmm.
tracking, right? Unless I ask and actually get the info and write it down and keep track of it. And I think that's where, on a smaller scale, it's probably easier to rebrand and switch from one website to another,
Oh
as
yeah.
opposed to some, on your size, there's a lot more things to be double checking and making sure that, all the contents work. But I can see where that would be a huge struggle and concern, because all you need is one broken link, and now that person gets frustrated and says, oh, this website's garbage, I'm just going to go to the next person down the list.
Hmm. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, even for smaller operations, whenever it comes to that branding on the website, look, websites don't have to be. I truly, I'd love to test this, but I'm scared to. But my theory is that the websites, we could take off half the content, half the bells and the whistles, talk about you, your story, talk about the consumer, but put yourself in there. That's one thing I think I realized is early on, I kind of hid behind the brand.
Mm-hmm.
We got vision flooring out there. Then it was like, ooh, look at this pretty band, this pretty brand all over here. And it missed that human component. If you're owner operated, highlight, work directly with the owner. They don't need to know that there's nobody else to work
Yeah.
with, but highlighting that. working with the owner with personalized touch, one project, you're going to be my sole focus, pictures of the family, make them like you, make them like you first. And then, all the catalogs and all that other stuff, it's clickbaity. It's nice to have. Honestly, Roomvo is fantastic. Super simple plugin. You get it done quick, easy to just have it on there. Phenomenal. But you don't need all these, 3,700 pages and all this other stuff until you start really gaining some traffic and, are looking at trying to work on your search engine optimization and try to rank in different cities and all that all becomes a whole nother ball game. But for the beginning, just to start getting a few leads, for a lot of guys, if they got 10 leads a month off of their web presence, that'd probably be a pretty nice increase. And I would focus more on their story and the customer service, working with the owner, and just make them like you.
Yeah, no, I think I don't disagree one bit. I think being able to, all the technology has removed us from the personal service aspect of it, right? People want to hop on a website and talk to the AI chat bot and have it do everything for the owners want it to do everything for them so that they free up more time. And I get that. I think that the use of it's nice, but at the end of the day, I still want to call. Maybe I'm just old now, right? I want to call a company. I want to talk to a human being. I want to interact with you. I want you to come to my house. I want you to tell me your story and make me, feel good and believe in you. And you're right. I think a lot of that is lacking in internet presence, and you could probably get rid of half the nonsensical stuff of, hey, look at all these pretty bells and whistles, and let's just focus on, here's your problem, here's how I solve it, here's what makes me special about it, here's who I am, choose me or don't choose me. But I think by then you've probably alleviated their concerns and they can choose you. And then everybody else has, here's my wares, buy it. What a compelling offer. Thank you.
75% off,
Correct. And don't be price based, people. Let's that's rule number 1 around here. Don't compete on price. Let's see, where do we want to go? I guess before the show I had mentioned reviews, and you said that you now have 500 across all platforms, 700 across all platforms. It's a ridiculous number, which is
500 just on Google. I think we're at 502, 503.
Okay.
And on across all platforms over 700.
Which is, that's amazing. Good for you. What's the secret? Is it just an email? Well, I get ask, and I mean I asked all the time and I still didn't get them. So after the ask, what's the follow up?
Literally, that's the biggest thing. Ask, send them a link, text them a link. That is and how you ask makes all the difference in the world. So whenever you ask, especially if you're an owner operator and you're doing the installation, asking for yourself, you have to, not for the company. But in our case, where we've got subs out there, our script on that is, would you be opposed to taking 30 seconds and leaving a review for Hector and Caesar on there? We really love to share those with them, and it really gives them a lot of pride to see how much of an impact they made. We don't ask you, leave a review for Vision Flooring. We say, leave a review for the dude that's been in your house sweating. They're the ones that the customer has been in contact with the most. It's the person that the customer has given a bottle of water to, who's opened the door for them multiple days, who built the most amount of rapport. So ask for them, and your review ratios just skyrocket. And then also making it easy. Shoot them the link, and you ask multiple times. We ask. I'm still really not good at getting the installers to ask. I think a lot of them still feel a little awkward about it. But we ask our installation coordinator when they call to check up on everything, she's asking. Then the designer, whenever they're following up, just to make sure again that everything's good, they're asking. So asking repeatedly and asking for the person that was in the home doing the work, it's amazing what a difference that makes.
Okay. There you have it, folks. You got to ask multiple times. Stop asking awkwardly too. Do not be shy and bashful about it. This is your company. You want it represented well.
Chris Voss, I always like the Chris Voss strategy. Would you be opposed to? No. The idea, no is a powerful thing. You want them to say no, which means yes, I'll give you a review. And people feel good at no, like they're saying. So, yeah, would you be opposed to leaving a review for such and such who was in the home, not for the company, for those people, and they would greatly appreciate it. I had
Look.
one kid. I had a service. There was a plumber I had to hire for a project or something, and he called me, and he actually said, if you could leave a review for me, it would be great. It's helping me to, achieve my goals and my dreams whenever I get those reviews. And it was beautiful. I was like, yeah, send me the link right now. I'm going to do it. He solved the problem, did it quick, communicated. I'm like, done. Yeah, send me the link. And asking, especially for the installers out there, I mean, that's something too. If you're an installer and you're a sub working for other companies, being able to get that company reviews, I think that's something you negotiate on. Hey, I want to get you a bunch of more reviews, but I would like to be compensated for those reviews. How does $50 per review sound? Most flooring companies would be happy if you took that off of their plate. Well, quite frankly, most flooring companies have like 80 reviews. So if you asked every single customer as an installer, if you asked every single customer, you got the link you do a Google search, get the link, and you had the customers do it, and you were getting reviews for the companies, those companies would be happy to pay you and then say, "Hey, how are you doing this? What's your take here?"
I think that is an excellent tip in order to try and not only help the installers out, help the relationship out between them and the company, but then get a little extra money in their pocket. Like there needs to be an incentive for you to help build somebody else's brand, I think, and so that's a great way to go about it. If it is your own company, I like you're making it easy for them is what I picked up on. Is you're not only giving a small set of time by saying, hey, would you mind taking 30 seconds? Not, would you mind taking 5 minutes? And then you're giving them the link right away. Here, I'm going to text it to you. You can click on it. You can do it right now while I'm walking around and doing the wrap up paperwork. And so by, you kind of back them into a corner to force them to do it, but it's not in a negative way. That's the key. I think everyone's always like emailing it out, asking as they're walking out the door, sending it as a text and as a follow up. And it's not, there's no pressure on it. And if there's not any pressure, then people are more likely to be like, yeah, I'll get to it. And then they never get to it.
You want to give them the opportunity to do something nice for the people that you just got to build some rapport with, you know. Like I said, the customer's giving you waters and doing these things and building that rapport, and they're grateful, most of them. We always have those crazy ones, but most of them are grateful and appreciative of the service and everything, and they would like to do something. I don't know what you guys' percentage is on getting tips, but I would be shocked if my guys weren't getting tips out of 50 to 60% of our clients. I'd be very shocked.
I was never that high. I was probably less than 10%, to be honest. But as the owner, as the owner and knowing it's a service-based business, I didn't expect it. And so it was always nice. It's welcomed, but I was compensated well enough. Like I didn't need any extra money, but if you felt that good about it, like, sure, I accept it.
And we had this guy, I think he actually owned a painting company out here, if I remember correctly. Yeah. He's the owner of one of the painting companies out here. He tipped our guys $1,000.
Nice.
Gave him $1,000 tip. It's like, man, that's awesome. And I think they do a pretty good job on that. But they do a great job. I just had new installers come in today. I'm like, okay, do all of your leads speak English? No. How many crews do you have? Oh, like 14. Yeah, there's no way you're going to guarantee the quality, guys. It's not going to work. So, got really good guys. All of our guys can communicate with the customer, and they do a great job of getting the reviews. I can't remember the last 1-star review we got. Actually, our 1-star reviews are the funnest reads because they're normally pretty ridiculous. So
that's usually how it is. You can smell the crazy in them. Like everyone gets so mad about them. I'm like, I'm with you and your dad on it. Like, bring it on. Like, I need one. I need a 1-star review so that people can see not only am I human, but that this person's crazy, and that's all the more reason to go with me.
Yeah. No, it helps.
Right on. I got to interrupt us real quick, and then we'll get back into this. Utzon has your floor installation needs covered with our extensive range of high-quality products. Whether it's our moisture mitigation system for concrete slabs, subfloor prep products, tile and stone installation systems, or our tooling, we have the solutions for your project. We also provide expert guidance to help you choose the right solution, as well as technical support for your project. Learn more by visiting our website, social media, through our app, or contacting your local rep. If you can't find any of it, UZIN in the app search bar. You're going to download their app. It's got links to the website. You can search for your local rep. It's going to give you the phone number. Their app has the calculators in it so that you can figure out how much product you need for everything. And once you get a rep out on your project, hands down, some of the best reps I've ever dealt with. No questions asked. Go give them a shot on your next project, guys. Okay, Shane. Rebranding.
I'll second that on Susan. They were really good. They came in and gave for us. They were awesome guys.
Did you have a rep out?
Yeah.
Was it Ray?
I think it was. Yeah.
Ray's the man. If you're in Arizona, I think he's up into Las Vegas. If you're listening and you're in those areas, get Ray on your project. Ray's the man. Great guy, great company, but like he's awesome as a rep. So, were there any struggles besides the website along the way? Was there anything where like you were worried about something and then it happened, or that like you didn't see coming that you would warn people about in a giant rebranding effort?
I think the biggest thing was probably product selection. I mean, we were Carpets of Arizona, so we had plenty of carpet selection, but our vinyl planks were limited. We had like no laminates, no hardwoods, no tile. So it's like, oh crap, now we're flooring. we've got to actually be able to provide these things. So we always had the labor for it, but just didn't have the sampling. So rearranging showroom, getting everything set up, trying to raise everything else up with the brand, and so that we could attract that, that hardwood client, that tile client. That was a bit of a struggle, but the biggest struggle has been, I think what everybody's struggle has been for the last 12 to 18 months is its lead generation. Lead generation has been enemy number one with a bullet. So, we'll be interested to see how it goes.
Okay. Which isn't necessarily a branding issue. That's just lead generation is its own monster within and of itself. So, complaints about the rebranding. It seems like everything's been smooth and better, other than like you said, you changed at a time when we started seeing a decline with spending within the industry. So I guess my question would be, have you had an actual decrease in sales, or do you feel that you've been able to hold market share?
Oh no, we've had a huge decrease in sales. Whether it's maintaining the same market share or not entirely sure. But there's definitely been a huge decrease in sales from 2022 time period. Okay. It's also hard to judge too. 21, 22, 20 were just phenomenal years for us all. That's where all the web companies, boy, you didn't have to be a good one to perform.
You didn't have to be a good installer. Your phone your phone rang no matter what. It was ridiculous. I guess I would go back and look at like 2017, 2018 numbers and see where you're at compared to kind of that. But even within that, you grew so much so fast that even that it's hard to judge.
Yeah. And we're up from, 2019 numbers. We're certainly up from there. I kind of use that as my bellwether to just not make me feel too bad. So, and I do think winning more of the hard surface projects, maintaining gross margin, even when people are now getting, 3 to 5 bids, it's amazing how much shopping has been going on over these last 6-7 months. Just, literally getting 5, 3, 5, 7. We had one customer, 8 bids.
No thanks.
We got 8. Yeah. They ended up choosing it.
Okay. I don't even know that I'd want to participate at that point.
Oh yeah. No, we just keep following up, and it's that follow up, and it's that, the fact that we're not ghosting them. We give them a quote in the home. Our process really shows why we're better. And so, we lose things because, somebody's a couple thousand cheaper. Okay, well, good luck. I think with the brand and everything, it's helped to elevate that, helped to explain some of that cost differences. where
Yeah.
we're still winning over 50% of the estimates that we go out on
Hmm.
and maintaining a good margin.
Well, you guys,
So
I know, like, not everyone thinks warranties are a big deal, but I know you're not going with the standard 2-year workmanship warranty. You guys are offering more than that, and I know that that's a selling point for you, which I think
yeah,
is. I've had people tell me like, "Oh, I chose you because of the warranty." Right? 2 years is nothing. 1 year is in the states that don't require that, like Arizona, like 1 year workmanship. Cool. I think I can get just about anything installed poorly to survive for a year.
hmm
So I like it does nothing, and so to put lifetime, 10 years, whatever you want to kind of do is an easy upgrade to kind of justify a slightly higher expense and put people at, give them a little peace of mind.
Oh yeah. Well, it explains too. It's like, we're always going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're priced to stay in business. You want us to stay in business. We have a lifetime guarantee. You don't want us going out of business because there goes your guarantee. So, I mean, not that we tell customers that, but,
Correct.
uh, I just did a video on it. I think the guys posted it today. Our lifetime guarantee is one page, not front and back, just one page, regular size text. No lawyers wrote it. We just do what we need to do to take care of the customer.
Mm-hmm.
We just had a project. I actually I think he might have been our 500th review, maybe 501st. A guy's named Mike. We installed this project like 3-4 years ago. Bad installers at the time. We went out, fixed some things, I think twice, and then he was having issues again. And we said we found something else. It's like, hey, all right, let's just go ahead and put in a claim on this, see what the manufacturer says. Shockingly, manufacturer said, yeah, there's a defect there. We'll cover it. So
Okay.
we end up replacing the floors. He leaves me this big, 3-paragraph, 5-star review about all these things that went wrong and how we took care of it.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, guys just tickled pink. Like
And those are the best ones when you bend over backwards for people, but it's the right thing to do, and then they're appreciative of it. So.
Absolutely.
Very
And
cool.
so, not scared of the customers. I mean, we spend a fair bit on warranty work, with restretches and all of that. We're working on some ideas on things that we can do to offset a little bit of that. But at the end of the day, I'll take that referral. I'll take that repeat. I have a carpet tile and upholstery cleaning company that we started last year too. So, hey, opportunity to get them that revenue as well. So, with providing that service. By the way, we also do this. So just really building trust with the customer and leveraging that trust into those other areas.
Yeah, that's
our emails have like a 48% open rate on our database. That's, a 10-year-old database.
Wow.
Which is huge.
That's very big. I get that. That's going to be, I think, my last question kind of about branding. And then if we kind of explore some other stuff, as part of the rebranding stuff, did they come up with any campaigns for you to use to help send out emails or help build out marketing campaigns moving forward using that branding? Was there anything like that, or is that still all lie on you and a separate marketing company?
Yeah, I have if I remember correctly, I think the company offered like the whole, like they could handle it all, or am I just hiring design and all that, and we'll do the implementation.
Okay.
And I think we did the implementation. I had a marketing director at the time, and we didn't get as loud about it as we should. We should have. So definitely lost opportunities all over the place with the rebrand.
What about did you? I guess if you rebrand, you could do another grand opening and get the chamber involved. Was that a thing?
We did do that.
Okay.
We did do that. Earlier on this year, we did do that. Got the chamber involved, and it's just a reason to get loud. Having those things, just a reason to raise up your hands and say, "Hey, look at me."
The biggest struggle for any owner is to get loud about themselves, I think, because we feel bad, right? Oh, I'm bragging about myself, or I'm talking about. If you don't promote yourself, who's going to promote you?
It's true. It's sad. I actually just started sharing my own content like in the last couple of months. I've been paying somebody to create daily video content. It's like, I'm not even sharing this. What am I doing here? So
yeah, it's hard.
I had to get over that.
Definitely. I like, what was I going to ask about? So I think at this point you've probably had conversations with Matt, and I think it looks like you want to bring in-house employees in, which put you, your dad's a little bit different. I think he likes that subcontracting model. What appeals to you about being able to have the in-house employee, especially since you're growing this brand? And I think that's the main appeal to you. Is, for me, it's that control aspect, because then you get the control, and if you're working so hard to build this brand that's so important, why would I give that up? That's been my hang up with it.
Yeah, branding is branding and culture are the two reasons. And it is something that's difficult, especially whenever it comes to from a subcontractor background. Okay, I'm going to issue you a W-2. I can pay you the same exact amount of money, and I'm going to get charged tons more in workman's comp, all the other things, and I'm going to pay more so you can make less. Is what ends up happening, because as a subcontractor, I don't know about you, but I don't think most of them are paying too much in taxes. They're smart. They're writing down their incomes, and I mean, get it? We all do that. So that's the hard part. Is it's saying, let me pay you more so you can earn less.
I disagree. I don't know, man. I think that most people, if they found a reputable, good company that was really looking at the numbers hard, they'd probably end up about the same, if not better off, because they'd have more time to do stuff. You could go install 10 hours a day instead of, if you wanted to, you could install 10 hours a day and get to more projects, as opposed to have to install 8 hours a day and then go look at projects every day. You don't have to go home and deal with the paperwork anymore, right? Like I think they constantly look at it as less money, but they don't look at the hours saved from not having to run the company.
But it's different too, though, because I mean, like all of our guys, I'm sure they do some side jobs, but not a lot. Like, they're not bidding a lot of projects. They're not really running a business.
Correct. And that's what I'm saying. Like, they'd be better off having you manage the taxes for them, right? Because if they're not paying them, how far behind are they? Well, what are the chances of being able to buy a house because they don't have good records? There's all these little things that to me add up, and I don't know. It just
the cycle is the same from every single installer I've ever heard of. It's like the first, you learn from an uncle, a brother, a dad, and then you go out on your own. And for the first 10 years, you make money, you forget about taxes, then you spend the next 10 years paying off the taxes. And then you get your flow, and you kind of figure it out, and you can make a great living doing flooring installations. You can make a phenomenal living.
Sure, I know. But all of them say the only way you'll ever make money is to go out on your own. But I don't believe it's true. I think that there are good companies that could pay well. Like, if you're,
then that's where it gets to be the hard. Let's just say, just for a number. If I pay a guy $250,000 a year as a subcontractor, that means, whatever he ends up being able to write off all of his tools, all of that other stuff, who knows what he's paying in taxes. The question is now, if I pay him as a W-2 $250,000, it's actually going to cost me about $320,000 after matching taxes and workman's comp additionals and all those other things. But the question is is he actually going to make more money, or is he going to actually make less money?
Okay.
In his pocket?
So the way I've always looked at it, and this is, I think, is the key, is you're looking at adding on having to match that stuff, and I consider it total compensation package. So I would go and say, okay, you made $250,000. Well, what does that actually look like? Okay, well, now I'm matching your taxes. Technically, when I match your taxes, that's part of your income. So that's included in that. I have to pay workman's comp on you now. That's technically income. If I have a company of a certain size, I have to provide benefits. That's income. I'm providing you with a truck. That's income, right? You don't have to. Here's a company truck. You don't have to own a truck anymore. It's your choice if you want to. I could provide them with a cell phone. That saves them $100 a month and $800 every 2 years. That's, income saved to them. So I get benefits on my side, but they can have some benefits on theirs. They don't have to pay a cell phone bill anymore. They don't have to pay a truck bill anymore. They don't have to pay the oil changes anymore. So I think if you can find a way to structure it, it would, and you actually sat down and explained it to some of them would look at it and be like, oh, wait, I can actually end up better because I'm going to put more money in my pocket because I'm losing these expenses.
Hmm. And I see that too. It sounds great until the first paycheck comes and it's like, well, this is half of what I used to get per week. You don't have all those extra expenses, but and that's something. I mean, quite frankly, I played around with it. I had an in-house crew for a little bit. The
Okay.
compensation package was not good. I totally understand why that didn't work out, and they weren't really the right guys. But it's something that would be. It just got to take a lot into consideration, and then the really good installers. They're the guys that have it figured out. Look, I got two guys. One of them just moved to Alabama. Both of those dudes have raised 11 kids. One has 11 kids, one has 12.
Jeez.
They're like with all the best equipment ever. They had
Hmm.
dustless tile setups. They have the nicest trucks, the nicest trailers. I mean, every tool imaginable.
Yeah.
They also pumped out the most amount of work, but then they raised that whole family off of subcontracting as an installer. So
Hmm.
it's like, especially those guys that have been doing it, they got their system figured out. They know how to pay their subs, all of that, or their helpers, all of that. Like it would take quite a bit of selling. And I actually I think it would be better. I think it would be a better thing for the company and for them. It's just getting over that hump of like seeing that first paycheck. Oh, I'm used
I
to making 8,000 a week. This paycheck is for 4,000.
I agree. I don't think it's for everybody, and I don't think you're going to get everybody. A guy like me, like I came in and I talked to whoever was in charge at Carpets of the Arizona at the time, and it wasn't going to work. I wasn't going to get paid what I wanted to get paid as a subcontractor when I could just as easily create my own lead, go out and get all the money. Like, why was I going to make less when I could spend like the 2 hours I spent, talking with you guys and sitting down and going over it all? It's not a knock at what you're paying anybody, but for me, it was like, well, I can put 2 hours into generating a lead, probably get one, and then go close it, and I get more. I wasn't hurting for work, and so there was no need to like get myself tied up in something that could potentially stop me from having my own leads closed, which then would have cost me money. And
Yeah.
like I'm just not a good fit for that system. There are other guys that love it. They love being, just having to show up and get a work order. But at that point, why do you have the company, right? So but there's other guys that have it dialed in. They have a system. They're running multiple crews. They want to be a workroom and come and service a retailer or two. That's a different model from the guy that wants to show up and just get a work order. And then there's the guy like me that doesn't want anyone touching his pie. And so I think there's variations, but I think the problem lies in the culture that we've bred within installers over the last 40, 50 years of you're not going to make any money unless you do it on your own. But then nobody wants to teach you how to do it on your own because they're all afraid you're going to go steal their work.
Hmm.
So we're not teaching anybody to do it well. And then we're not paying them well because nobody knows how to run the business and make money at it. And then they don't want to teach them how to. It's just this never ending cycle. And I think in-house installation is the way to go because we're going to have to create training programs. And then you're going to breed the loyalty and the culture you want out of training all of the in-house guys. And I think that's what saves us. But that's my
Oh,
crazy dream.
and I love it for long term. Looking at it, it's getting over that hump of getting it going. And I've thought about this as hiring, yeah, and having a system where you've got a lead and a helper, maybe two helpers, but the idea is installers will tell me the helper needs like 2 years of apprenticeship before they're a lead. I think
Mm-hmm.
that should maybe be one.
Depends on the surface, to be honest. You could do LVP and laminate in a year if you have any braids
Oh yeah,
about
and
you.
that's what I'm talking
But
about. Yeah,
yeah.
like the simple stuff. That's most of the market, most of our clientele anyway. So carpet, vinyl, laminate. Give them a year under a good lead who's going to take the time to train them when there's downtime. If there is downtime, like giving them reps and really actually going through the formal training
Mm-hmm.
process. If I could have one lead and two helpers, train up two organically, make them leads, and then hire six helpers, train them up. There's going to be attrition and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Kind of do it in a slow fashion. The guys I was telling you about that were from the Midwest, they came from there was a company that they went in house and they did just like I did the rebrand, just at the flip of a switch. hey, we're all in house, we're all got company vehicles, company tools, all of that stuff, and it ended up sinking the business within, I think he said 9 months.
Wow.
And just that additional overhead, not having the
Yeah.
processes, taking somebody from a sub mindset to try to go over to an employee
Hmm.
mindset. Like
Well,
there's a lot of risk, and the gain is going to be, 5 to 10 years is where you really see the most of that game. And so that's why
yeah.
it's a hard thing for a lot of guys to really look at, because it's going to take a lot of work managing installers directly versus managing, like, sales team or a warehouse guy
Hmm.
is very different. It's going to require a lot more legwork, a lot more time,
Yeah.
and money.
You need a good foreman that's out there that knows what they're doing and how to schedule the guys and what they're good at and how long things are gonna. I get it.
Foreman with installation experience that's going to cost you $120,000 a year.
Correct.
Too.
So there's other things to overcome. I think a company gets sunk like that other one just because they take it on, and the guys, the subcontracting model guys go, well, I'm getting paid by the hour now. I got to milk it.
Yeah.
And there's no they think they're getting, like, that's the thing, is getting them over the hump of, I'm getting paid less when you're not. But this goes back to, let's get Matt Garcia in here and talk about his, employee compensation, or his, now I can't think of it. I can't think of what it's called. His employee compensation model, it's based on, like, you earn more as you do more, but
performance pay.
There you go. Yes, the performance pay, right? And so it's fair to everybody, but now it's no longer that, like, yeah, I get paid hourly, but then I can make more than I may have even as a subcontractor. So there's an interesting way in making this all work for where everybody wins, and I don't know that anybody's really. I think he's the first guy in the flooring world that I know of that's really putting something out there, testing it, and showing, like, okay, I don't think I have it all dialed in yet, but I've got it really close, and I think other people will start running with it over the next couple of years, and I think it could be really big.
Yeah, I hope so. I think it's a way better way to operate. I mean, I treat my subs as employees anyway, in the sense that, still have some level of responsibility towards them, and it's not good. I mean, the horror stories from stores, and I'm sure you've heard more than I could even count, of where large companies or stores just, I mean, they make their money by stealing it from the installers, and it's horrible.
Let's just say that a lot of people are underpaid for much of the work. Like, I still don't understand how carpet rates work. It makes no sense to me. If I have to own about the same amount in tools and have the same amount of knowledge, and then I'm going to go do something that's harder on my body than solid surface stuff, but I'm going to go out for the day and make half the amount of money, it makes no sense to me. Like, if my 8-hour day is my 8-hour day, and if I got to earn $1,000 a day, I don't care if I'm kicking in carpet or putting down LVP, I'm getting $1,000. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's one of the things I think that needs to change immediately, is, like, nobody wants to do carpet anymore because no one's willing to pay. And the market won't bear it. The market will bear it just fine. Go charge it. People aren't going to bat an eye when you tell them, like, this is the price to get carpet now. Get it or don't. I don't care. Here's this other option. But, like, if you got to pay your guys, then the price is the price. You can't go to Ferrari and be like, oh, you know what? I only want it for $10,000.
Yeah.
You don't get a Ferrari for $10,000. It's not happening. And so the price is the price. You just have to go and force it to happen. I think most people are afraid to go rock that boat and say, I guess carpet's double now. And it's scary, but it's something that needs to be done.
And especially from the flooring store perspective, I mean, that is something that is really scary. Okay, I'm going to start, charging way more, not making any more margin. And, like, okay, do I go from a 60% closing rate down to a 20%, 30%? I mean, that's a scary thing, especially, and as the market increases and we start getting into a good boom Trump economy again here soon, be more likely to do that. And I did raise rates whenever the economy was really good. Because it's like, yeah, you're right. I have guys come to me. It's like, hey, this rate just doesn't seem. This is hard. Like, okay, all right, yeah, let's change this around. And we did that early on in COVID, raised our rates, and that's how we attract really good guys. And that's how we get those 5-star reviews. It all works together.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think a lot of like what I found was, you're scared to raise rates and then you do it. And then you find out nothing happened. You can raise them like 5-10%. People don't bat an eye. And then you're like, oh, I'm still just as busy as I was. Let me go. And like, I was constant game for me. Like, how high can I go until I start losing too much work to not stay busy? And then I'm like, okay, let me scale it back.
If you doubled your prices, you'd have to lose half of your work to make, to make the same amount of money.
So I think a lot of people
it gets to be harder on the retail side, especially whenever you're, paying $300 for a lead and for a measurement appointment, and you've got all of that infrastructure tied into there. And it's like to go, you mess that boat going from a 55 to 45% losing ratio. Again, as long as your margin's there, something you could do, but it's just a scary thing to do, especially in a weaker economy.
I get it. As a retailer, you have a lot more overhead going on. You have, and if you don't keep a crew busy, they're going to go somewhere else. So if you have a really solid crew, but now you raise prices and you can't keep them busy, it doesn't do you any good because you can't pay them. And then they got to go find work elsewhere. And then you get the workload built back up and they don't want to come back. So I get it. There's a lot of like factors involved here, but that's just one of the biggest things I see is that, everyone, I can't find a carpet guy. Well, stop charging the rates you're charging. Like, if you can't find a carpet guy, you're not installing it anyway. So you might as well offer to pay more so that you can find a carpet guy to come in and install it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Anything you want to hit on? Whether it's branding or just, a vent about the industry in general, or, anything we didn't hit on that you want to kind of talk about for a minute?
Well, I'd say best thing, especially for your audience there, I'm assuming most of them are installers and doing that work. I mean, reviews. I got several installers who've done that, go and they'll look around at different shops and whatnot. And, I just had somebody come in today. If you walked in and said, I'm going to get you 5-star reviews, like immediately you're different than every other installer that's ever walked through the door. And you're providing something that's different than, I'm going to do a good job. We expect you to do a good job. You're a subcontractor. It's your business to do the good job. We're going to hold you accountable to that. What's the extra thing? I'm going to bring you 5-star reviews. Hey, after this many, or, you can talk to them about, as far as your rates, if you've got a rate that's higher than the store, because quite frankly, it's very difficult for a store to be able to give quotes if I'm paying all my installers different rates. It's very difficult. You can't really scale that. So unless they're calling you for each job to get a price, it just doesn't. That's not going to work, and it's an unrealistic expectation to expect a company to be paying all these different guys different rates. So if you can talk about how you can provide more value with those 5-star reviews, I'm going to get you more referrals. Do you have flyers I can take next door to those places? I want a code on there. So if one of my flyers gets you a measurement appointment, I would like to be compensated. Like, wait, so I pay you more if you perform better? Excellent.
Makes sense to me.
Way to differentiate yourself as an installer and earn more money, because you're definitely worth it.
If you want to build off of what Shane's saying, don't just get the 5-star review. Take out your phone, get the 1-minute video testimonial so you can post that on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, YouTube, whatever. You get that 1-minute testimonial and you start bringing those in for a retailer. That's gold. That they won't even want to get rid of you.
Before and after photos, before and after videos. I mean, a lot of us are paying people to go around and take videos and pictures of places. You're there, you see it beforehand, you see it after. I mean, if that's all the things you went to a retailer, not only am I going to install the floors, but I'm going to do, not only I'm going to do the installation, great. I'm going to get you a 5-star review. I'm going to get your brand on the doors next to you, at the houses all around there. We're going to give you before and after photos that you can use for your marketing. I mean, that's the dude that's like, hold the phone, let's stop everything. I'm actually listening to that phone call instead of, oh yeah, send me give me your information. We'll call you when we got an opportunity. Present that stuff. They're going to be excited to try you out on a job quick.
I believe it. You got to be different. You can't, and everyone is supposed to be able to install to perfection. That's our job, right? Going in and saying I'm a great installer means absolutely nothing, because that's expected. So You're right. What do you do above and beyond? Great advice.
And those few things, man, they're pretty small, cost very little time, no money, and will immediately move you to the top of the pile for any new work.
Love it. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us this week. Shane, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise through your rebranding and also, your knowledge as a retail store owner and how guys can do better about walking in the door and trying to get hired. Always love getting that, because that's a space that I don't have a lot of experience in, but I also love the banter back and forth from the retail side to the owner operator side as well. So always a pleasure. Listeners, thank you. Listeners, it's nearing that time again. Time to remind you that the International Surface event is returning to Las Vegas, January 28th through 30th of 2025. Mark your calendars now. Whether you're an installer, retailer, distributor, or work within another capacity within our industry, attending TICE is a solid resource to expand your knowledge and networking base. You can also learn about industry-leading products coming to market, stay up to date with the International Surfaces event page on Facebook, or visit our website at intlsurfaceevent.com. Book your rooms, go to the show, see what's coming out to market, meet some new friends, find a way to improve your business while you're there, because you can talk to people from all over the country. It'll be a great time. That's going to do it for us. We'll catch you all next week.
Mm-hmm.